Haha, so let's try to ignore the two games that had just come and gone for the Detroit Red Wings, because we already talked about them yesterday. Yeah, if you hadn't checked it out, we made a video post Red Wings loss to the New York Islanders, which, by the way, was a very bad loss. Talking about that game in particular, say what you want about what the team needs to do to improve. Say what you want about whether or not the past two games for Red Wings hockey against Buffalo and against the Isles were just flashes in the pan. We're just unfortunate detours on the long, winding road of a full NHL season. Or say what you want about how the sky is falling and how this is the end. But in today's commentary, what I wanted to do was dive into the Detroit Red Wings and get into a name that they could be in a bidding war for. Now, this all comes to us via the folks on TSN's Insider Trading, who had their segment yesterday. It was posted onto the website. It'll be linked in the description if you want to go out there and watch it yourself. TSN Insider Trading has the same guys. There's Mark Rowe, Darren Dreger, Chris Johnston, and Pierre LeBrun. And lucky for us, we have ourselves a summary, courtesy of the amazing Canucks News Summaries, who went out there and posted a write-up as to what it is the folks on the show spoke about. Canucks News Summary said it's nothing Canucks related, but once again, trades chatter seems to be starting up earlier than usual. Let's go out there and read what Pierre LeBrun says at the bottom of this summary in regards to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Calls on forward Yegor Chinakhov, who asked for a trade in the offseason, have increased. He has only played in 3 games this season, and he is also on the fourth line. Lots of scouts are attending the Blue Jackets hockey games. LeBron then says that the Maple Leafs, Red Wings, Panthers, Sabres, and Flames have all checked in on this guy, and the Blue Jackets want to make a hockey trade. So, this is our name. It is Yegor Chinakhov, a guy whom we've made a bunch of videos about already, chronicling his trade request story in the summer, going over how this guy was in a pretty unfortunate spot with his development and how this 24-year-old 6'1", 205 left-handed guy wanted out. Now, there was a conclusion to that story. It seemed like the Blue Jackets actually talked it out with Chinakhov, and he was okay with sticking around in that organization a little while longer, which is why he's on the team now. He's making $2.1 million a year till the end of this season, and he was a former first-round pick back in 2020. Although, if you remember the 2020 draft, Chinakhov was a total unexpected surprise pick. Everybody on all of the draft programs did not expect Chinakhov to be taken anywhere near the first round, and a lot of the folks on the program didn't even have scouting notes on him. That's how low-key Chinakhov was. He wasn't even ranked in 2020. At least it doesn't look like he was. So the fact that he went first round to Columbus was a huge shock, and he was taking eyeballs by surprise ever since. He has been a 15, 14, 29-point guy in the NHL the past few years. His 29 points in 53 games played in 23-24 were pretty good. But last year, he had only 15 points in 30 games played. So do the math over 82, that's on pace for about half a point a game, which is about 41. He would have been roughly on pace for, how many goals is that? 7 divvy 30 multiplied by 82. He was on pace for about 19 or 20 goals. Not bad. Now, Chinakhov has 1 assist in 3 games with the Blue Jackets this season. He's missed 3 games already. And if the Blue Jackets are willing to reopen the trade floor for this guy, it seems like we already have ourselves the teams that would be in the bidding war. Florida, Toronto, Detroit, Calgary, Buffalo. Bunch of interesting teams over here, and, we don't have to dive into every single one of them as a potential fit, but Yegor Chinakhov, over the past few years, has been maybe more of a middle six scoring talent. Like, obviously, he had a pretty good season last year with the points that he got then, but this year, the guy hasn't really been played much. You look at the games that he does play, he's getting 9, 6, 10 minutes a night. It's not really a lot. This is part of the reason why Yegor Chinakhov was even asking out in the first place, because the Blue Jackets, despite the fact that they do have a wealth of Russian players, Marchenko, Voronkov, Provorov, Chinakhov, it's just not working out for him all too well. But the goal-scoring touch and the shot that got him drafted first round in the first place back in 2020, those attributes are still there. And if a team like Toronto or a team like Detroit is looking for more of a middle six scoring edge, I honestly think you can do a lot worse than Yegor Chinakhov. Now, you're going to need to get him chemistry, you're going to need to get him in the right spots, he's going to need to be adjusting to your system, but I'm kind of thinking about it like, if it's Detroit, for example, this is a team that doesn't really have much to offer secondary scoring-wise beyond some of the top guys. Everybody talks about Finney, Brandsegg, Newgard, Larkin, Raymond, Kane, DeBrincat, Casper even to an extent, but all the bottom six guys, it's like, yeah, you're kind of lucky if you see a JT Compher goal. You're kind of lucky if you see Andrew Kopp go out there and make a beautiful play that results in a goal or a point. And if you wanted to get a little bit more bite in that lineup, throw at the bottom there, Yegor Chinakhov is a relatively good pick. I do kind of wonder, though, from the Toronto Maple Leafs perspective, if they go out there and try to get this guy on their team, I kind of wonder if he steps on the toes of what Nick Robertson has got going on. He, of course, isn't usually in the top six, but you've got the rest of the lineup there. If Robertson is in the bottom six and you've got Easton Cowan and unexpected sniper Kalle Jarnkrok in there, I do question if the team even really needs a guy like Yegor Chinakhov. You can make the same debate for a team like the Florida Panthers, who, despite losing out on Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, just have a lot of depth for days, and they have guys who know how to play the right way. Samoskevich, Boquist, Greer, Gadjevich, these guys aren't snipers like Yegor Chinakhov is, but I do think that for what Florida wants to do on the ice every night, they're almost perfect in their role, so I question whether or not the Panthers or the Cats would benefit from a guy like Chinakhov as well. Then you talk about the Calgary Flames, whose progression this season has just been so out of whack. They can't win any games, they can't get themselves out of that lull area, and if there's any team that's looking like it's going to be a top Gavin McKenna contender for now, it's going to be Calgary. I mean, Chinakhov makes sense, he's a young guy. If the Flames want to go down the direction of youth and maybe retooling on the fly here, trading away some older names for a guy like Chinakhov doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. And then you can also talk about the Buffalo Sabres, who are always in seller mode for whatever reason. I mean, you think about that squad, yeah, Chinakhov will add some extra scoring throughout the bottom of that lineup too. I mean, you've got Kozak and Beck Malenstein, and Jack Quinn is supposed to be a sniper in Buffalo, but he hasn't really shown off the best the past few years. He's definitely not looking like a top 10 pick, like he was all the way back in that same 2020 NHL Draft. But either way, if you're a fan of any of these teams, Buffalo, Calgary, Detroit, Toronto, Florida, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Yegor Chinakhov as a potential trade acquisition for your team? Does he make sense as one of the early fish on the market to go out there and target? And is this a guy that you can invest multiple years worth of time into his future and what he's going to be able to bring? Also, what do you think is the trade price for this guy? He already asked out, and he's got 1 point in 3 games so far. He's being played in the fourth line. He's not really being given anything at this point, so it's not going to be too expensive, is it not? If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you did not, then hey, the dislike button is there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved there. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.